everyone, and welcome back to the chaos. So I know this one's late, right? It's been like 2-3 weeks because the last vlog went up before Christmas, right? Like, right before Christmas. Hold on, I'm gonna straighten out my shirt here. There we go. A lot has been going on. So we had Christmas week, Christmas time with my in-laws. Lots of chaos, house was a wreck. I still haven't recovered. We're gonna go into why. So, we caught a cold after Christmas with the in-laws. Which, look, we knew this was gonna happen. I had a sinus infection during Christmas with the in-laws. People were coming in from out of state. It's a given, right? Like, the children were running around, they were having fun. In the end, it was worth it. That last day sucked, but that's because my children started losing their marbles. Christmas Day, we had a good day. You know, the kids had fun. And we did not manage to go to Christmas with my parents. We spent the week between Christmas and New Year's, which is when we were supposed to go to my mom's house, New Year's Eve, doing random stuff around the house, recovering, getting better. We were sick. Well, husband was still sick come Saturday, which was New Year's Eve. I'm sorry, Friday, which was the night before New Year's Eve, my bad. And, so my mom's like, okay, well, let's do the COVID test thing just to be sure. But if he's still coughing and sneezing and stuff, he probably doesn't need to be around your brother. Because, like, look, it's a standing rule. I'm not going to accidentally kill my brother for Christmas. No. So we were going to do a picnic with the kids because that test came back negative. He didn't have freaking COVID. But then Chris was coughing. Matt was sneezing, coughing, the older two. And so she's like, okay, well, we're just going to cancel because anything can make him super sick right now. So we canceled. We did a porch swap of gifts, which we did during COVID too. You know, one of us leaves our gifts on the porch. The other person comes and picks them up and leaves their gifts in their place, rings the doorbell, and leaves. That's what Mom did this time, was we left our stuff on the porch. Mom did the swap. Saturday morning, things went to shit. We woke up. Chris woke up. Actually, my husband woke up early because Chris was losing his little marbles. He was not happy. He had a raised rash on his torso, his legs, and his arms. Well, standard practice in this scenario, because this happens a lot. He just gets into something he shouldn't be into. And, you know, Benadryl cream, bath. Not in that order. The Benadryl cream before the bath doesn't really do him any good. And clean clothes. Standard practice. Don wakes me up because he freaks out when this kind of thing happens, and he doesn't always know where everything is. So he just wakes me up and goes, okay, help, because it's faster for me to work on autopilot than it is for him to try and figure out what the hell I did with stuff this time. And then we look for whatever caused it this time. But here's where it got bad. We couldn't find anything. There was no evidence he'd gotten into anyone's office, into the kitchen. Nothing was out. He hadn't gotten into anything. So, I'm not awake yet, right? I'm on autopilot because he had to wake me up about an hour and a half early to figure this out. I'm not awake. So he insists, I think he needs to go to the ER because the Benadryl also wasn't doing much. Like, oh so barely made any difference at all. Got to the ER. By the time we got into the ER, and I took him to the ER, by the time we got into the ER, the rash was coming down a little bit. It wasn't raised anymore, but it was still there. And look, up here, by the time I've gotten to the frickin' ER, I need to see what's going on. So they bring us back, check him over, and they release us. They go, okay, give him Benadryl for 24 hours. If any of these other symptoms pop up, bring him back. Okay, get in the car. Dee tells me to stop and get lunch on the way home. So I did. I had just gotten basic groceries to get us through the week because I didn't want to deal with groceries on New Year's weekend. Not my thing. So I stopped at Whataburger, grabbed lunch, brought it home. By the time the boy had finished eating his lunch, his mouth was swelling. So right back in the car and back to the ER. And while we're there this time, his tongue starts swelling. And this is the point where he loses his flibbergibbet marbles. because he's not okay anymore. This is also the point where the staff went, nope, we ain't doing this, and popped him with an EpiPen and decided he needed to be admitted for observation. This is when we learned that the virus test they had done, apparently an endovirus can cause, it's rare, but it can cause this reaction. So they tested for a virus. He has that virus. That's what we've all got, apparently. And the swelling went down. You know, they kept him on Benadryl until 11 o'clock that night, because as he was up for dose for Benadryl, swelling started picking up again. Just a little bit, but Benadryl. Keep it down. And they called the specialists at the hospital. This is the hospital where they see all their freaking specialists, to let them know this is what's happening. Partially because this could be a reaction to his infusion medication, or, unlikely, but could be a reaction to the recent change in his medication for maintenance of his heart. Because he had just seen they just changed that 3 weeks ago. But they kept him overnight for observation. His last Benadryl dose was at 11 p.m. and that was it. So in the morning they let us go. And said neurology would call to tell me what they wanted to do about medication, because neurology coordinates all of their care because of the MD and the autism, their neurological conditions. Autism is neurological, DMD is neuromuscular. Same department. But yeah, I spent New Year's Eve in the hospital with the kid. I waited until, and this is the one with autism, I was not okay leaving him alone in that hospital because he will wander. Every time I had to go downstairs to get food, I told the nurse, he will wander if he gets out. So they sent someone to sit with him. We were on the neurology floor. They know kids with autism. They knew this kind of thing was going to happen. It didn't occur to me until after that the autism was probably why they didn't hook him up to any flipping monitors. They just came in and checked his vitals every hour. But someone would sit with him while I went downstairs to get food. He watched movies. He got peeved the next day, so I popped to the gift shop, to get him a toy. And yeah, he just wasn't happy being stuck there. But by the next day, he was eating normal. He was acting normal. He was thrilled when daylight came up through those windows. He was ecstatic because we were on the top floor. 10th floor. He was up. He thought that was fantastic. But yeah, we came home with an EpiPen prescription. We have 2 EpiPens in the house now in case this happens again. Because if he had not been in the ER when his tongue started swelling, this would have turned out very differently. If I had not been in the ER when that happened, this would have gone south fast. So they sent me home with 2 EpiPens, a script for 2 EpiPens in the house. And the nurses and doctors were like, will you be able to administer this? Because you've got to pop 2 caps off and ram it pretty hard. And I told them, yeah, see, my brother thought the same thing. He's got an EpiPen too, and trust me, I can do it. If I have to turn his leg purple to save his little life, he's fine. And they're like, yep, nope, you're one of those. Turns out I have a reputation in the hospital. I did not know this before this week. I have a reputation as the one who knows how to do my crap, has my shit together, and I'm like, how did I get that? They're like, how home life works is your problem, okay? When you're here, you know what you're doing. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna argue, sure, fine. I didn't know I had this particular reputation, but apparently I do. But yeah, we brought him home. He hasn't had any problems since. He's actually stopped coughing now. He kicked whatever the virus was in like a week less. One of my kids is still coughing. The oldest one, he's not kicking it as fast, which is whatever. Dee and I are slowly getting rid of the last little chunks of it. But yeah, that's why this is so late. And I came home from the hospital visit with him, And we learned a couple of very important lessons here, okay? One is our new van only fits into one of the 2 parking garages at the hospital. There is a 10-inch clearance difference between the 2. I only fit into one of them. 2, I should not be driving in that parking garage at 2 in the flipping morning. There's actually this ugly scrape along the side of my van now because I scraped a barrier inside the parking garage, which, not a big deal. We're getting the van painted anyway because the paint's peeling all over the place. But yeah, no, 2 a.m. I should not be driving in there. Fine, whatever, because I had to leave. I waited till he fell asleep at 1 o'clock in the morning to go home and get a phone charger, clothes for him, clothes for me. No, I don't think I even managed clothes for me. And a couple of things I need. My contact case and my medication. Those were still here. So I had to come home. It wasn't optional. So, but now we have a go bag. Specifically for him. Just because he's the one with autism. When we're out somewhere, he has to have something to deal with. So it's got a couple of toys, some extra clothes that are pretty across the board for the kids. They stretch, they have drawstrings. Extra clothes for me because reality is my husband cannot be the one to stay up there with them. It's just not going to be a thing. Some snacks, his EpiPen, and copies of their insurance cards are in a go bag now. And another very important lesson was, look, I have 2 rules when I'm gone. Alright? When I get back, everyone's still alive. The house is not on fire. That's it. Anything beyond that is freaking gold. He always overdoes my expectations, okay? Not only was everyone alive and had gotten their medications, when I came back at 1 in the morning, the house was a wreck. Which was expected, okay? We were in and out of the house twice, going to the ER. He was flipping out because this response scared the living hell out of him. And the kids were like, what's going on? This ain't okay. So the house was a mess at 1 a.m. When I came back the next day, not only had they picked up the living room, they were loading the dishes and trying to ensure we had food to eat like we'd already eaten, and they didn't know that. Like, Dee wanted us to have food when we got home, and they were picking up. But I looked at the house and went, this is not going to fly. I can't do this. This has to get fixed. So I went to Target, because that's the mood I was in. I had 4 hours of sleep, okay? I had to go get my medicine at 1 in the freaking morning, and then the sunlight came through that window and woke us up at 6, 7, somewhere in there. I got 4 hours. Was not thinking straight. So I went to Target because we had the money to do this at that moment, and I was like, I know this is getting fixed. I bought sheets, enough sheets and pillowcases for every bed and the couch in the house. The couch is actually a bed. It's a twin bed on a very, very durable frame, and we're just keeping it that way. It's a couch bed because this works. We haven't had to replace the couch since we bought that 4 years ago. Mommy, 1 minute! Their food is ready. I will be right back. Sorry about that. Children wanted a hot lunch today, so I had to go get it out of the toaster oven, so no one else got a burn like that. Right. So I had gone to Target and gotten all those sheets and pillowcases for every bed in the house because I knew I had a pile of clean blankets I had just folded in the house. A tablecloth for the table, several 4-packs of Red Bulls, because 4 hours, folks, okay? Yeah. And sodas and snacks to bribe, because there are some rooms in this house that are not my job. And they were destroyed. And when I came home, I told the kids, okay, your jobs are your bedrooms. Mommy's job is everything else. And their jobs were their bedrooms because they had not been cleaned properly before I left. They were trashed. There was stuff everywhere. I was not putting up with that, and I wasn't cleaning it. I did not make that mess. No. So I told them, you get these rooms cleaned, and I had them start in the larger room that was the bigger mess, because I know better. And I told them, you get a soda break after you clean the first room. If both rooms get done today, I will buy you a new movie, and you get sodas with the movie tonight. So we did. They went in and they cleaned the big room. They got a soda break halfway after they cleaned that room. And then I could go in there and vacuum, change all their bed. I couldn't go in there and change their bedding. That's how bad the floors were. I went in there and changed their bedding, vacuumed their floor, gave them a soda while I did that, and let them watch 2 shows, their shows they already have. While I did that, and then I did the kitchen. No, the kitchen didn't get done. I cleaned the living room while they cleaned the big first room, vacuumed that, changed the bedding on the bed. And, I'm recording. Go eat your lunch. That's what you asked for. We're having some lessons as a result of the things I'm describing right now. I cleaned the living room, and I got the Christmas tree down. That took a while. Got the Christmas tree down and then vacuumed the living room. And then I cleaned my room, changed my bedding, vacuumed my floor, cleaned my picked up my bathroom. I swept the bathrooms, picked up the bathrooms, got the floor picked up. And went into the kitchen and changed the tablecloth and got the table cleared off. And that made a huge difference in the house. Like, it actually looked like I'd done something on 4 hours of sleep and 6 Red Bulls. Shush, Shelly. Shush. And then after they had their shows and their soda, they went and cleaned the other room. And I cleaned their bathroom, changed the rug in there, got the trash up, filled up a trash can, because there was just trash everywhere, because they ate fast food, or people had sent meals while I was gone. It happens, it's a thing, no big deal. But we got it all cleaned up, got it vacuumed, and the house has stayed cleaned up. I have been harping on picking up after themselves, and they are required to clean their room every night before dinner. End of story. But we have a bonus there. We actually stuck the TV on the wall. It's up near the ceiling now, but it's up on the wall above the shelf where we've got the computer that's attached to it, and the switch, and the controllers for it. And we have a dock so that you can see the switch on the thing. So they're cleaning up their room each night, and then they get to play Switch after dinner. Until bed. As long as they, have done their chores and crap. And it's staying clean. The house is staying clean. Really weird. Kind of freaks me out. But it's working. So I'm going to be doing a canning video soon. Might do a video of making the youngest's birthday cake, because his birthday is next week. And we're going to get into the sewing again this week. Obviously, you can see around me, my office needs some therapy before I can do some sewing, but I am getting there. It is making progress. So, yeah, that's where we're at. We're doing way better right now. Game is back on right now on Saturdays. We had our first one yesterday. Day before yesterday. It's Monday when I'm recording. Right. So, yeah, we're doing good. Everyone's doing a lot better. And we did actually have a good holiday, and the only real issue right now is we are waiting until neurology did call and say they don't want him getting his infusions just in case, because that could have caused the problem, until he sees an immunologist in May to test for allergies and see what happened, because we don't actually know what happened. They want to rule everything out. So yeah, that's where we're at. I will try to get another vlog up this weekend, and have a good week. Happy New Year. Enjoy the chaos. That's what I'm doing right now. It is fantastic.